Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 4, Chapter 2, Text 2. Kastam chara chara gurum nirveram shanta vigraham atma ramam katham dveshti jagato devatam mahat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shilpa Prabhupada. Lord Shiva, the spiritual master of the entire world, is free from enmity, is a peaceful personality, and is always satisfied in himself. He is the greatest among the demigods. How is it possible that Daksha could be inimical towards such an auspicious personality? So Vidur is asking this question to Maitreya Muni. Now what happened? Why is Daksha being envious of Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva has all the great qualities, free from enviousness, free from enmity. He's peaceful. Ashutosh, he's always satisfied in himself. Atma Aramam, satisfied in himself. Lord Shiva is a pure devotee of Krishna. So all the good qualities are there present in him. Lord Shiva is described here as Charachara Guru, the spiritual master of all animate and inanimate objects. He is sometimes known as Bhutnath, which means the worshipable deity of the dull-headed. Bhuta is also sometimes taken to indicate the ghosts. Lord Shiva takes charge of reforming persons who are ghosts and demons, not to speak of others who are godly. Therefore, he is the spiritual master of everyone, both the dull and demoniac and the highly learned Vaishnavas. So Lord Shiva, he's a very great personality. He wants to give mercy to even the ghosts and spirits. And that's the reason, they follow him, because he's giving them a chance. He's giving them a chance to raise their consciousness. If one really gets attached to Lord Shiva, not falsely imitating Lord Shiva, but one really gets attached to Lord Shiva, follows the footsteps of Lord Shiva, then he can go to the planet of Sadashiv and remain there eternally with Lord Shiva. It's like kind of a junction. Some say it's in the spiritual world, some say it's in the junction of the material and spiritual world. And those living entities can eternally reside there with Lord Shiva. But not the followers who are just so-called followers and try to imitate Lord Shiva cheaply, but the real followers. It is also stated, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Shambhu, Lord Shiva, is the greatest of all Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnavas. On one hand, he is the worshipable object of the dull demons, and on the other, he is the best of all Vaishnavas or devotees, and he has a sampradaya called the Rudra Sampradaya. So there are 4 sampradayas, 4 Vaishnava sampradayas, authorized sampradayas. These sampradayas begin from Krishna himself. So the 4 sampradayas are the Brahma, Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the Brahma Sampradaya. We come in that line, the Sampradaya which starts from Lord Brahma. Then there's another Sampradaya which is called the Sri Sampradaya, where Lord Krishna is imparting the knowledge to Lakshmi Ji. So that Sampradaya starts from Sri Sampradaya, Sri Vaishnavas they are called, very prominent in South India till now. Till now, there are many Sri Vaishnavas, especially in South India, very prominent, and they practice. They're followers of Ramanujacharya, he was Acharya in that Sampradaya. Then another Sampradaya is the Nimbarka Sampradaya, the Sampradaya of the 4 Kumaras. And in that, the Acharya is Nimbarka Acharya. And then there is this Rudra Sampradaya, in which Krishna is giving the teachings to Lord Shiva. And so it's called the Rudra Sampradaya. If we really want perfection, we want to develop our love of God, we have to be in either one of these four sampradayas. These are the authorized sampradayas, which have been, they are bona fide sampradayas. They have been, authorized, like we have a post box, which is authorized by the post office. So if we put a letter in that, the letter will be delivered to the receiver. But if we just simply pick up another box and paint it and think that it is, that if we put a letter in it and it will be received by the beneficiary, it's never going to happen. So if we want to approach Krishna, we have to approach him through any one of the four sampradayas. Even if he is an enemy or is sometimes angry, such a personality cannot be the object of envy. So Vidur, in astonishment, asked why he was taken as such, especially by Daksha. Daksha is also not an ordinary person. He's a Prajapati in charge of fathering population, and all his daughters are highly elevated, especially Sati. The word Sati means the most chaste. So Vidur cannot understand what happened. Why is Daksha being envious of Lord Shiva? What is the reason? Daksha is a great Prajapati, one of the progenitors. He is given this, he's gotten this empowerment. He had thousands and thousands of children. Who can do that? So he's an empowered personality. And here is Lord Shiva, Vaishnavam Yatha Shambhu. He's the best of the Vaishnavas. So what happened? Vidur was therefore astonished. Daksha is such a great man, he thought, and is the father of Sati. Sati, the most chaste, we are hearing. And Lord Shiva is the spiritual master of everyone. How then could there possibly be so much enmity between them that Sati, the most chaste goddess, could give up her body because of their quarrel? So Lord Shiva is a spiritual master. Why? Because he shows us that we need to engage in devotional service to Krishna. He himself is engaged in devotional service to Krishna. Lord Shiva is always meditating. Whom is he meditating on? He's meditating on Krishna. When he was asked by Parvati, what is the best worship? He said, worship of Lord Vishnu is the best. Worship of Lord Vishnu or Krishna is the same. And Lord Shiva says that's the best worship. So he's teaching everyone, engage in the service of Krishna. So that's how he's a spiritual master of the whole world. He's one of the 12 Mahajans that are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There are many contemporary Mahajans also, like the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They are Mahajans too. Haridas Thakur, Mahajans, Srila Prabhupada, Mahajans, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master. So reading on, would anyone like to read the verse?
Okay, I'll read. Etad akyahi me brahman jam matu shvashuryas yacha vidveshastu yatha pranams tajyaje dustyajan sati.
My dear Maitreya, to part with one's life is very difficult. Would you kindly explain to me how such a son-in-law and father-in-law could quarrel so bitterly that the great goddess Sati could give up her life? Vidur is wondering what happened. How could such a great quarrel happen that Sati is giving up her life? What happened? Would anyone else like to read the Sanskrit? Does anyone want to try? No?
Okay.
Vacha. Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. Maitreya Vacha Pura Vishwa Samatam Param Shya Tat Marnashana Sarve Shanuga Manu Yo Gyanamya. It's very hard.
Thank you. Thank you. It was good. It was good. Thank you. The sage Maitreya said, in a former time, the leaders of the universal creation performed a great sacrifice in which all the great sages, philosophers, demigods, and fire gods assembled with their followers. Upon being asked by Vidur, the sage Maitreya began to explain the cause of the misunderstanding between Lord Shiva and Daksha, because of which the goddess Sati gave up her body. Thus begins the history of a great sacrifice performed by the leaders of the universal creation, namely Marichi, Daksh, and Vashishta. These great personalities arranged for a great sacrifice for which demigods like Indra and the fire gods assembled with their followers. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva were also present. So there was a great sacrifice which was being performed by Marichi, Daksh, and Vashishta. And they had invited all the demigods, fire gods, the sages, the rishis, the philosophers, and a lot of people were there. Does anyone else want to read the Sanskrit? Yes, please.
Yes, I can. तांसारिका कन्दुकर्दर्पणाम् अम्बुज श्वेतात्पत्रव्यजनस्त्रगादिभिः गीतायनैर्दुन्दुभिः शङ्ख वेणुभिर्वृषेन्द्रमारोप्य विटाङ्किताययुः.
Oh, but this is not the one, right?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Which we are on 2.5, the fifth one.
Pravistam Shayo.
Sorry?
Are you able to see it on the screen?
Okay.
Tatra Pravishtam.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Tatra pravishtam rasyo. I'm not able to see Sanskrit. Just a minute. Tatra pravishtam rasyo दृष्ट्वर्कम् इव रोचिषः व्रजमानं भित्तिमिरं कुर्वन्तं तत् महत्सदः.
When Daksha, the leader of the Prajapatis, entered that assembly, his personal bodily luster as bright as the effulgence of the sun. The entire assembly was illuminated, and all the assembled personalities became insignificant in his presence. So this great sacrifice is being performed, and Daksha is entering the sacrificial arena. And he's very effulgent. He's a great personality. He's a very empowered person, Daksha. Does anyone want to try?
I will try, but please show me the Sanskrit part.
Yeah. I've highlighted it.
No, the...
You mean this one?
Hindi
Oh,
part.
yeah. Yeah. This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Udatishtan sadasyaste swadishnebhyah sahagnyayah rute virincham sharvam chatadbhasha kshipta chetasaha.
Thank you. Influenced by his personal bodily luster, all the fire gods and other participants in that great assembly, with the exceptions of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, gave up their own sitting places and stood in respect for Daksha. So everyone has got enough. You know, when a great personality enters the room, then out of respect, we stand up, right? So here, everyone is standing except Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. So reading on. Does anyone else want to try?
I want to read.
Okay.
Can I? Okay.
Yeah.
Sadasaspati birdaksho Bhagavan sadhu satkruta ajam loka gurum natva nishasada tadagyaya.
Daksha was adequately welcomed by the president of the great assembly, Lord Brahma. After offering Lord Brahma respect, Daksha, by the order of Brahma, properly took his seat. So the president is Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma is glorifying Daksha. He's welcoming him properly. Then, does anyone else want to try?
I can try.
Yeah.
It's 8th one, right? 6,
Yeah,
7, 8. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Prakarnishnam mridam drishtra na amriyatah tat anagratah uvacha vamama chakshurbharyam abhivikshaya dahan ivaha.
Before taking his seat, however, Daksha was very much offended. Why? To see Lord Shiva sitting and not showing him any respect. At that time, Daksha became greatly angry, and his eyes glowing, he began to speak very strongly against Lord Shiva. Now we can see everyone has gotten up to give respects. Only two people didn't get up, that was Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. And Lord Brahma has adequately welcomed Daksha. Now only one person didn't get up. Thousands and thousands of people got it. That he is not seeing, but he's seeing that, oh, one person has not got up. And so he got angry with that. You know, like Hiranyakashipu, everyone in the world was afraid of him. But only his son was like, no, you're not God. Lord Vishnu is God. So he was like, why? My son should also say that I am God. And that's how we become when we get puffed up with pride. We don't see, oh, there's so many people who are glorifying us. Oh, but why this one is not glorified? Lord Shiva, being the son-in-law of Daksha, was expected to show his father-in-law respect by standing with the others. But because Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are the principal demigods, their positions are greater than Daksha's. Daksha, however, could not tolerate this, and he took it as an insult by his son-in-law. Previously also, he was not very much satisfied with Lord Shiva, for Lord Shiva looked very poor and was niggardly in dress. So already Daksha was not very happy that his daughter had chosen Lord Shiva, because he would say that Lord Shiva doesn't have any opulence, not even a house. And now he's gotten more irritated. Why? Why you didn't get up to praise me in respect? But the understanding here is being given that Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, they are the principal demigods. Lord Shiva is the incarnation of the Lord in charge of the mode of ignorance. There are three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Lord Vishnu is in charge of goodness, Lord Brahma in charge of passion, and Lord Shiva in charge of ignorance. And these three modes are making us dance to their tunes. So we can see that Lord Shiva is playing a very important role in this material affairs. So he has a great responsibility. And we'll read on why also he did not get up. Does anyone else want to read?
Can I read again?
Okay.
Shrunyatam brahmarishaya me saha deva saha agnayah sadhunam bruvata vrittam na agyanat na cha matsarat.
All sages, brahmanas, and fire gods present, please hear me with attention, for I speak about the manners of gentle persons. I do not speak out of ignorance or envy. In speaking against Lord Shiva, Daksha tried to pacify the assembly by presenting in a very tactful way that he was going to speak about the manners of gentle persons, although naturally this might affect some unmannerly upstarts, and the assembly might be unhappy because they did not want even unmannerly persons to be offended. In other words, he was in complete knowledge that he was speaking against Lord Shiva in spite of Lord Shiva's spotless character. So Daksha is trying to he's irritated. He's envious of Lord Shiva. He doesn't like Lord Shiva. So now he wants to speak it out in front of everyone, but he wants to sugarcoat it. He wants to sugarcoat it, trying to say, oh no, I'm not envious of Lord Shiva. But he knows he is, he knows he's speaking against Lord Shiva. As far as envy is concerned, from the very beginning, he was envious of Lord Shiva. Therefore, he could not distinguish his own particular envy. Although he spoke like a man in ignorance, he wanted to cover his statements by saying that he was not speaking for impudent and envious reasons. So he's coming from a place of envy, but he wants to put out to the world that, no, I don't have this envious envy, this quality of envy in me. And he's trying to find fault with Lord Shiva. I don't know if you have been in that position, but I surely have been. That to cover my own negative point, I speak in such a way, saying that, yes, I'm so great, whereas I'm coming from a place of envy or pride or anger, just to malign someone else, So this quality is there in our heart, but when we can chant more and more, take shelter of the holy name to help us give up this quality. Okay, time's almost up. So
On
we can
this,
stop here
I
for
was
today.
hearing about what you said. I was hearing a lecture of Radhesham Prabhu yesterday. So he said that the greatest default is that we do prajalpa, like in the wrong, the associations. We are not able to choose the right associations, first of all. That is very, like how Mahaprabhu had the like everybody had association. He said a lot of two groups, like, like Ramanand Rai and Mahaprabhu. I think he gave 8 pairs of, like, how the association mattered. What you choose is so important. And then what you talk. And God has given you the tongue, but the tongue is, you should use it very, very carefully, because that is the thing that can cause your downfall very easily. And like how people just start chanting few rounds and they think that Prabhu ji beginning में वो innocence थी, अब नहीं है. So that is because हमें थोड़ा गुरूर आने लगता है धीरे धीरे कि अरे मैं तो इतने राउंड कर रही हूँ, अरे मैं. So धीरे धीरे that downfall happens. It was a very, very nice, I'll share it, that lecture. He gave it in Atlanta, Radhesham Prabhu. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. So what is the best use of the tongue? You're saying don't use the tongue for prajalpa.
Just chant.
Yes, thank you. Chanting. And what else can we use the tongue for?
Speak sweetly.
Eat prasadam. Krishna offered prasadam.
Speak sweetly.
Speak sweetly, yeah. But yeah, Krishna says that words, the speech in the mode of goodness. Krishna gives us, he tells us in Bhagavad Gita of how speech is in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So sweet words are in the mode of goodness, pleasing words and the mode of goodness. Yeah. And the best use of the tongue is to engage it in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and to chant the glories of Krishna and to taste Krishna prasadam. So we'll Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So we'll stop here for today. Did anyone want to add anything or comment anything? Did anyone else want to add anything? No. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and enjoying today. Hare Bol.